HOA Karen calls 911 when I refuse to open my pool at 4 a.m. Before we start the story, please comment down from which country you're watching, and subscribe the channel. Open this door now or I'll have you arrested. The loud banging at 4 a.m. woke me up from deep sleep. I never thought a neighbor wanting to use my pool would change our whole neighborhood forever. I jumped out of bed, heart beating fast. The banging on my front door was so loud it seemed like someone was trying to break in. I grabbed my baseball bat from beside my bed and walked slowly to the door. Through the small hole in my door, I saw Karen from 3 houses down. She was wearing a bright blue swimsuit with a large beach towel on her shoulder. Her face looked angry and her foot was tapping on my porch. "Who is it?" I called out, even though I could see her clearly. "It's Karen from Maple Street." "Open up right now," she yelled, loud enough to wake up everyone nearby. I opened the door a little bit, keeping the safety chain on. "Karen, it's 4 in the morning. What do you want?" "Your pool. I need to use it. Right now." She said each word slowly like she was talking to a child. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. The swimming pool in my backyard that I worked hard to pay for was suddenly what she wanted to use in the middle of the night. My air conditioner broke down and I have important people visiting me. I told them we could use a pool tonight. "We're all waiting to swim," she explained with a look that said she expected me to say yes. "Karen, I'm sorry but no. It's the middle of the night and my pool isn't for the neighborhood to use," I said, trying to stay calm even though this was crazy. Her face changed quickly. Her eyes got narrow and her cheeks turned red. "But I told my friends we have a pool to use. They're all at my house right now in their swimsuits. We need to swim now." "That's not my problem. You should have asked me during normal daytime hours and even then I would have said no because it's my private property," I answered, getting less patient. "Do you know who I am?" She stood up straighter. "My husband plays golf with Richard, the HOA president." She said this like it gave her special rights to use anything in the neighborhood. "Good for him." The answer is still no. "Good night, Karen." I started to close the door. What she did next was shocking. Karen stuck her foot in my doorway so I couldn't close the door. Then she pulled out her phone. "If you don't let us use your pool right now, I'm calling the police," she threatened. I couldn't help but laugh. "For what? Not letting strangers use my private property at 4 a.m.? Go ahead." Karen was already dialing 911. Right there on my doorstep, she reported an emergency situation, where her neighbor was stopping access to community areas and making threats. I stood there in disbelief as she made up a whole story about how I had promised the neighborhood could use my pool and now I was being mean and not letting them in. "He's being very threatening," she said into the phone while giving me an angry look. 15 minutes later, 2 police cars pulled up with their lights flashing. My quiet street was now lit up like a Christmas tree, and one by one my neighbor's house lights started turning on. Officer Martinez came up to my door first, looking confused to find a woman in a swimsuit and a man in pajamas having an argument before sunrise. "What seems to be the problem here?" he asked, looking back and forth between us. Karen jumped in before I could speak. "This man promised the whole neighborhood access to his pool. I have guests waiting, and now he's being mean and stopping us from using the pool that we should be allowed to use." I took a deep breath before answering. "Officer, I woke up to this woman banging on my door at 4 a.m. demanding to use my private backyard pool. I have never offered to let anyone in the neighborhood use it. This is my home and she's bothering me." Officer Martinez kept his cool. "Ma'am, do you have any papers that show you have the right to use this pool?" Karen fumbled with her phone. "Well, no, but everyone knows all the pools in this neighborhood are for everyone to use." The second officer, Officer Reynolds, had been watching quietly. "Ma'am, is this pool behind a fence on private property?" "Yes, but..." "And did the homeowner ever clearly give you permission to use it?" Karen's story started falling apart. "Not exactly, but it was understood when they moved in." I shook my head. "I've lived here for 3 years and have never said or hinted at any such thing." By now, several neighbors had come outside in their robes and pajamas, watching what was happening. Mrs. Jenkins, my 70-year-old neighbor from next door, walked over in her pink bathrobe. "Officers, I've lived here for 20 years, she said firmly. "Every pool in this community is private property. There's no shared agreement. And this young man has always been quiet and respectful." Karen's face turned even redder. "You're all against me. This is a plot." Another neighbor, Tom from across the street, joined in. "I saw the whole thing from my security camera. She's been pounding on his door for almost 30 minutes before you arrived." Officer Martinez took Karen aside while Officer Reynolds spoke with me privately. "Sir, you have every right to say no to people using your property. Would you like to press charges for her disturbing you and harassing you? I thought about it carefully. Not at this time. I just want this fixed so everyone can go back to sleep. Officer Reynolds nodded. Understood. We'll make sure she leaves your property. Meanwhile, Karen was yelling as Officer Martinez explained to her about private property rights and what happened in the next few days changed our neighborhood. The HOA called an emergency meeting to talk about the incident. Karen came expecting support but instead faced disapproval from everyone. This kind of behavior makes us all look bad, the HOA president stated clearly. Private property must be respected, and emergency services should never be misused. Several neighbors shared past problems with Karen, demands to use their grills, borrowing lawn tools without returning them, letting her dog run free on other people's lawns. The pattern was clear, and the community had reached its breaking point. Karen received a formal warning from the HOA and a fine for disturbing the peace. The police gave her a ticket for misusing emergency services. Her husband, embarrassed by everything that happened, apologized to me personally and offered to pay for a new security system for my home. She's going through some personal issues, he explained quietly. But that's no excuse. I'm sorry you were pulled into this. The most surprising change came 4 weeks later when Karen knocked on my door, at a normal 2 p.m. on a Saturday. Her appearance had completely changed. She looked more natural, less fancy. But the biggest change was in how she acted. She seemed humble instead of demanding. I came to apologize, she said, looking down at her shoes. What I did was wrong. I've been seeing a therapist about my entitlement issues and, well, I'm learning. I appreciated her honesty. Thank you for saying that, Karen. It takes courage to admit when you're wrong. I also brought this, she said, handing me an envelope with a handwritten apology letter and a gift card to a hardware store. For your trouble. The incident started something unexpected in our community. Neighbors who had barely talked before now greeted each other regularly. We created clear rules about shared spaces versus private property. The following summer, the HOA used money to fix up the forgotten community center and its public pool, a truly shared space where everyone was welcome during posted hours. Karen volunteered to lead the Community Watch program, putting her energy into something helpful. She became careful about respecting boundaries and encouraging others to do the same. Looking back on that crazy 4 a.m. confrontation, I realize it was the spark for positive change. Sometimes it takes an extreme situation to show underlying problems and bring people together. That night taught me about standing firm while still giving room for people to change. It reminded our community about the importance of boundaries, respect, and the power of second chances. As for my pool, I did eventually host a proper neighborhood pool party, with invitations during daylight hours and with everyone's respect intact. The midnight knock that once disturbed my sleep ultimately woke up something better. A stronger, more connected neighborhood where private property is respected and community spaces are truly shared. And yes, Karen was invited to the pool party. She brought a really good potato salad and left at the right time. Karen wasn't the only one with issues in our neighborhood. After the pool incident, other neighbors started talking about problems they had been keeping quiet about. The Johnsons on Oak Lane had been fighting with the Petersons about a tree that dropped leaves in their yard. After seeing how we handled the pool situation, they sat down together and worked out a plan to share the cleanup work. The teenagers who used to play loud music late at night now checked with neighbors before having friends over. They even started a car wash service to earn money for a better sound system with headphones. Mr. Garcia, who everyone thought was unfriendly, explained at a community meeting that he worked night shifts and needed to sleep during the day. Once people understood, they made sure to keep noise down near his house in the afternoons. These small changes added up to a much more peaceful place to live. People started to think about how their actions affected others instead of just doing whatever they wanted. After the pool situation was resolved, our neighborhood started having regular community events. The first one was a simple cookout in the park at the end of our street. Everyone brought something to share, and for the first time, people from all parts of the neighborhood mixed and talked. Then came movie nights in the summer, where families brought blankets and chairs to watch films projected on the side of the community center. The kids would play together while parents chatted before the movie started. In the fall, we had our first neighborhood yard sale with more than 30 families taking part. People from other areas came to shop, and everyone commented on how friendly our neighborhood was. During the holidays, we organized a decoration contest with prizes for the most creative, most traditional, and funniest house displays. Even people who had never decorated before put up at least a few lights. None of this would have happened if Karen hadn't knocked on my door at 4 a.m. that summer night. Her bad behavior had accidentally created something good. The incident also made us think more about safety in our community. Tom, who had captured Karen's meltdown on his security camera, offered to help other neighbors set up similar systems. Within a few months, most houses had either cameras or better outdoor lighting. We created a phone tree so everyone knew who to call if they saw something suspicious or needed help. This was especially important for older residents who lived alone. The HOA used some of its funds to fix broken street lights and add new ones in areas that had been dark. They also trimmed bushes near walkways so there were fewer hiding spots. Karen, to everyone's surprise, became very involved in these safety efforts. She researched the best locks for different types of doors and windows and shared the information at meetings. "I know how easy it is to disturb someone's peace of mind," she admitted. "I want to help make sure everyone feels secure in their homes." The pool incident changed me too. Before that night, I mostly kept to myself and only talked to a few nearby neighbors. After standing up to Karen and seeing how the community came together, I found myself becoming more involved. I joined the HOA board when a position opened up and helped update the outdated rules to be clearer and more fair. I started a community garden in an empty lot that the HOA owned but wasn't using. We divided it into small plots that families could use to grow vegetables and flowers. Karen's husband Greg, who turned out to be quite a gardener, became my right-hand man in managing the space. The most surprising change was in my friendship with Officer Reynolds, who had responded to Karen's fake emergency call. He started stopping by occasionally to check on things, and we discovered a shared interest in classic cars. We now meet every other weekend to work on restoring his 1967 Mustang. 3 years have passed since that night when Karen demanded to use my pool. Our neighborhood today is almost unrecognizable from what it was back then. The community center, once an empty building that no one used, is now busy every day with activities. The community pool that the HOA built the following year is popular with families all summer long. The neighborhood night out we hold each year on the anniversary of the incident has become a tradition. We all laugh about it now, even Karen, who brings t-shirts printed with "Pool Party Committee" as a joke. New families moving in are often told the story as a kind of neighborhood legend. They're surprised when they meet Karen today and hear about how she used to be. As strange as it sounds, that middle-of-the-night confrontation may have been the best thing to happen to our community. It forced us to face problems, set clear boundaries, and learn how to truly be neighbors instead of just people who live near each other. Sometimes the most difficult people just need clear boundaries to see their behavior for what it is. And sometimes communities need a big wake-up call to realize the importance of standing together. If you ever find yourself facing your own Karen at 4 a.m. moment, remember, stay calm, know your rights, and document everything. The truth will come out even in the craziest situations. Most importantly, remember that one bad incident doesn't have to stay bad forever. With the right approach, even the worst confrontations can lead to positive change and stronger relationships. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more true neighborhood drama stories. What's your most outrageous neighbor experience? Comment below and let me know which country you're watching from.